Hi everyone, in this video I will be reading one of my Violetta fanfics based on, another one of my fanfics based on the show Violetta. This one I call, That's Your Natural Hair Color? Huh. Kind of, yeah, anyway. So this is part 3 of 4. So, I hope you enjoy. Alright, Maxie explains, I was shy and envious of others and just wanted to fit in. Luckily, the right friends helped me overcome those things. Well, that's very good, says Angie. Now, who wants to go next? Still on camera? Yeah. Okay. Ludmilla says sassily, Ludmilla will. Angie asks, What about that dress reminds you of your childhood? Ludmilla knowingly says, well, I'm sure it surprises no one that I was a pageant girl. Napo impulsively says, I could totally see Auntie Priscilla doing that. She's such a stage mom. Violetta confused, Auntie Priscilla? Are you two cousins? And here I am thinking Angie being secretly my aunt would be the only family secret I'd hear today. Wow, I did not see that one coming. Ludmilla, annoyed, says, he's my distant cousin. Napo says, quit telling people that. We're first cousins. And you're just embarrassed of me. Ludmilla says, so what if I am? What about me embarrasses you? I honestly want to know, says Napo. Ludmilla says, Napo assumes, it's my height, isn't it? Look, I've come to terms that I'm not getting any taller. And that's okay. So you're gonna have to get used to it, cause I ain't growing anymore. Ludmilla, annoyed, says, you done with your little rant? Sees his and the rest's faces. Oops, sorry, that was a poor choice of words there. Anyway, I don't care about your height. You could be 2 feet tall or 10 feet tall. It doesn't matter either way. The thing that embarrasses me about you is that you're dorky. And you're always hanging out with the unpopular kids. Angie explains, neither of which you should be ashamed of, Napo. Napo accepts, I know that. And present day me knows not to be ashamed of those things. But the young me I'm referencing didn't know that yet. And I'm not going to argue with Ludmilla because it's no longer worth it. Just so you know, that's why I'm not defending myself here. Angie prioritizing. We can talk more about that later. For now, I have to ask Ludmilla, what was your personality back then? Ludmilla explains, well, I was a typical pageant kid, but there were times when I didn't want to be. But anytime I tried to bring that up to my mom, she'd just guilt trip me into staying in the pageant business. So I was actually really happy when I aged out of it. It's where I learned to be self-absorbed, and I'm actively trying to be less so. Violetta clarifies, so your mother was forcing you to be a pageant girl? Napo says, knowing my aunt, she'd definitely do that. And I know Lucy won't admit it, but Priscilla is emotionally hurting her. Ludmilla says, hey, I told you to stop calling me that. Violetta says happily, I really like that nickname for you, Ludmilla. And is what he said about your mother true? Ludmilla admits, yes. It's probably why I'm so jealous of you and your loving family, since I don't get that. Violetta concerned, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Can I give you a hug? Lumilla says honestly, I want to say yes, but if I do, it can't leave this room. Like, it has to stay between us. Got it? Everyone in unison understood. Ludmilla accepts. Okay, you can hug me. Violetta gives Ludmilla a tight hug. 3 seconds later, they break from the hug. Thanks, I actually really needed that, says Ludmilla. Violetta says, you're welcome. I'm glad that it helped. Anyway, I'll go next. As a kid, I went through... Napo says, offers, anyway, I'll go next. As a kid, I went through a dresses phase, paired with heels for height, but I stopped wearing them when someone made fun of me for it. This is the first time I've worn one since, and I completely forgot how much I enjoyed it. I might bring this back into my style now that I have more confidence in myself. And while I'm at it, because I'm sure all of you are wondering, but don't know if you can ask. Yeah. Yes, I'm gay. That's hard for me to say as a straight person. But Napo says, coming clean, that he is gay. So, I'm sorry, I get that vibe off of him. And I feel like if any of the guys on the show went through a dresses phase, it'd be Napo. And that's not an insult. That is not an insult. Do not take it as that. Please, don't take that as an insult. That's not my intention. Everyone accepting says, cool. Ludmilla mumbles at the mumbles. That explains a lot. Napa wonders, what was that, Lucy? Ludmilla quickly covering, nothing. If any of the male students in the show would have gone through a dress phase, it would have definitely been Napo. I'm just saying. Don't come at me in the comments for this. Please, that's just all I ask. Back to the story now. So, when you went through your dresses phase, what was your personality like? Asks Angie. Napo says, well, I was very happy, upbeat kid till someone decided to ruin that by making fun of me. Angie says, interesting. And we can talk more about that later. But we only have 40 minutes left to hear everyone else's story. So, who wants to go next? Andre offers, I will. I chose sweatpants and an active sports t-shirt. Since at the time, they were the only clothes that my foster parents bought that I didn't have a problem with the fabric. Fabric-wise. Wait, you were a foster kid? Asked Cammy. Andre says, thankfully, not anymore. A good couple adopted us about 7 years ago. But it wasn't easy because it takes a special kind of person to adopt someone like me. When I was 2, my sister Laura was born. I think he's the older one, right? And I believe her name is Laura. She was born, and for fear that she'd have the same thing as me, they put us both up for adoption. I feel like that would be like a really touching backstory for him. All because they couldn't raise a kid with autism, let alone the possibility of 2. He's talking about his bio parents, just to clarify. Our adoptive parents say we were put up for adoption together, so we weren't split up. But I know it was because of me and my autism that we were put up for adoption. Maxie wonders, so does Laura have autism as well? Andre reveals, yeah, but hers is higher functioning than mine. That's why she's the smarter one of the 2 of us. I thought that was kind of funny when he described his sister as the smarter one. Okay. That's nice. It's nice that you think your sister's smart. That's really sweet. Maxie responds with, oh, that's cool. And I had no idea you went through all that. I'm sorry for you, bud. Everyone in unison say we second that. Andre explains, "It's okay. I've come to terms with everything now." Leon says, "You being autistic makes so much sense now. This might sound weird, but is your therapist's name, oh, I don't know, Stephanie Vargas?" Yeah, that's Leon's last name, right? Vargas? And your respite worker is Gabriel Vargas, possibly? Is he Gabriel Vargas or something? Andre's like, "Yeah, how'd you know that?" Leon realizes, "So that's what they've been hiding from me. I knew that, because they're my parents." Andre's shocked. "Seriously?" "Yep. They're both dedicated to their work with people on the autism spectrum." I feel like that would explain why Leon hangs around with Andre even from the beginning of the show before he turns nice, if that were the case. Like, maybe he was raised by people who work with people on the spectrum, and so as a result they became friends because of that connection kind of thing. I think that would be a really nice reasoning for those two being friends. But maybe that's just me. Andre realizes, "So that's why you said it made sense." Leon says happily, "Exactly." Angie points out, "As great as this conversation is, I'm sorry, but I have to move it along. Since we only have 30 minutes to get through Leon, Natty, Cammy, and Fran. So, Leon, you're next." Leon explains, Alright, so, let me restart Leon's line. Here. So, Leon explains, "I used to wear a lot of black and navy blue, lot of black and navy blue as both as t-shirts and jeans, often wearing the navy blue jeans with a black t-shirt or vice versa. Like today, I'm wearing the navy blue t-shirt with the black jeans. And for a pop of color, I'm wearing a deep blue flannel unbuttoned. But this flannel was also great for brownie points because I always had a jacket for Ludmilla, who at the time was my girlfriend. The last time I wore this," Ludmilla points out. "Yeah, I remember that fashion era for you. Anyway, you can continue now." Leon continues, "Anyway, at the time, I thought darker colors made me look tough." Okay. I realize it's kind of stupid now, but back then I didn't. And it's time for me to come clean. I, back then, was a jerk, and when I wore this outfit, I did some pretty bad things. For example, I was jealous of the friendship Maxie, Cammy, and Fran had, so I started a rumor that Maxie was two-timing Fran and Cammy, and neither girl was aware of that. So that's why no one wanted to be your friend, Maxie, because they didn't approve of your two-timing. Oh, yikes. I mean, he was a bully in the beginning of the series, so it had to start somewhere. And to make matters worse, I had started another rumor that Andre was responsible for sharing that news. Andre confused. "I thought we were friends back then, so why'd you bring me into it?" Leon reveals, "I had overheard my parents talking about you one day and realized you spent more time with them than I had. And I was jealous. And before you ask, no, I didn't know you were autistic, just that you had a connection with my parents that I was unaware of. And I regret all the rumors I'd come up with and everything I used to do to you in the past. I'm very sorry." Maxie, shocked, says, "That was you?" "Yes, and I'm deeply regretful of what I did," says Leon. Cammy says to her, "See, I told you guys." Leon, "You knew?" Cammy brings up, Let's be honest, Andre would never intentionally do that, but back then you totally would have. But for some reason, Maxie and Fran didn't believe me, says Cammy. Maxie apologizes. Well, we're sorry for not believing you. Fran tells, couldn't have said it better, myself. Cammy, prioritizing, says, anyway, I'm glad you finally came clean. Leon points out, honestly, it's a relief to finally get this off my chest. Do you forgive me? Maxie, Cammy, and Fran jokingly pause and debate. Yeah, you're forgiven. Cammy informs, I appreciate you recognizing where you went wrong. Maxie then says, I agree with Cammy, and Fran informs, I second their opinions. Angie prioritizing, sorry, but I gotta start moving things along. So Natty, you're next. Natty explains, okay, I used to wear really bland colors before I learned how to make my own clothes that are more my style. Ludme made me feel like I couldn't outshine her fashion-wise back then, and being a people pleaser, I fully followed all of Ludme's advice, fashion-wise. So that's why I'm wearing this beige summery dress that goes down to my knees, and I'd often pair that with some black tights, and for a pop of color, Ludme allowed me to wear scarves that were specifically shades of blue that complemented her outfits. So when she picked me up so we could walk to school together, she decided the shade of blue scarf I would wear that day. Nappa wonders, does she still have control over your outfits? Natty responds with, not as much, but I still ask for her feedback when I'm unsure if it looks good on me. Lumilla says, I'm sorry for doing that back then. And when you told me you were going to teach yourself how to create your own clothes by using online resources, selfishly I was hoping you'd be good, and you're a fantastic fashion designer. Maxie, annoyed defensively, so you're okay with her not following your fashion suggestions, in air quotes, so long as you can get something out of it? Lumilla says, gosh no, I don't take advantage of her sewing talent. All I meant was if my outfit was missing something, she could make it for me, but I never take advantage of that, says Ludmilla. Maxie defensively, then ask her to teach you how to sew. Don't make her do it for you. Ludmilla's surprised. I can't believe I'm saying this, but that's actually a great idea. How have I never thought about that? Thought of that? Maxie assumes, because you were relying on her to do it for you? Ludmilla admits, yeah, I guess I was. Oh my gosh, I'm a horrible friend, aren't I? I'm so sorry, Natty, says Ludmilla. Natty appreciative says, thanks for apologizing. And thanks for defending me, Maxie. But chill out with it already, or they're going to know our secret. Fran, confused. What secret? Looks at Maxie and then Natty and back. Wide-eyed as realization hits. Oh, I get it now. Are you two? Never mind. Cups hand over her mouth. Wait, you think that's what he's hiding? Looks at Natty and Maxie's blushing faces. Happily shocked, yes. Fran's right, isn't she? Maxie covers his blushing face. Maxie mumbles through his hands. Yes, she is. Andre, confused. What's going on? I don't get it. Natty looks at Maxie. Can I? Maxie tells, some of them already know, so might as well go ahead. Natty reveals, me and Maxie started dating a month ago. Aw, I'm so happy for you guys. Everyone agreed. Everyone says, agreed. Thank you, says Maxie and Natty. Angie prioritizing, back on topic. Other than being a people pleaser, what was your personality back then, Natty? Back then, I didn't have any confidence in myself and was also shy back then. Angie points out, wow, a fair amount of you were shy back then. Anyway, there's only 20 minutes left, so Cammy, you're next. Cammy notifies saying, I chose the fashion era where I got a lot of my clothes from the thrift store. And I did that for 2 reasons. One, the obvious, money-wise, it was the smarter option for my family. And 2, it started as a necessity since my dad had been laid off and at the time. And then I actually really enjoyed thrifting. Now, reason number 2 why I enjoyed thrifting was being able to give clothes a second life. Let's be honest, if anyone was a thrifter, it'd be Cammy. Alright, so I decided to wear these thrifted sky blue tights with this flowy top with funky patterns on it. And where the patterns aren't, there's a creamy sort of tan color, and I tied it all together with thrifted white belt and a light colored tan purse, which I decided to wear going across my chest. Side note, here it is. I feel like if any of the characters were a thrifter, it would be Cammy. But if you think I'm wrong, what do you think of her previous style, what her previous style would be? And that goes for any of the other outfits I guessed for these characters. I'm simply trying to give them some more backstory with their previous fashions. Comment what you think of my guesses for their previous fashions and what you would change if you disagree with my guesses. Back to the story now. Okay, very good. Angie says, okay, very good description, Cammy. Now, what was your personality like back then? Side note, I wasn't originally going to explain what their previous fashions were, for Natty, Leon, Napo, Cammy, or Fran. But then thought, as a viewer, I'd be curious what the ones left out were. So I gave myself the extra task of figuring that out. So I hope you don't find it boring. Yes, I'm not including Broadway or Brocco for 2 reasons. 1, it's long enough already. And 2, we're going to assume they weren't there that day. Comment what you think their previous fashions and personalities would be if you have any ideas. So that's it for part 4. Hope you enjoy. Sorry for the pans clashing in the background. I don't know if it's going to be picked up on the screen or not. But I apologize for that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Sure, comment, like, subscribe, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching.